commuting. Now I'm online. So I have work and school at the same time. Like right now I'm at work. So you gotta like be able to manage your time between your house life and your school life. And sometimes that one can get in the way of the other. So be aware of that. Um, no, I was a commuter in freshman year. You don't have to live on campus, right?
No,
Yes,
you
that's
don't.
what
Now
I
I'm in the
thought.
cafeteria and they're playing Michael Jackson. So
But yeah, you don't have to be a resident in the first year. I was a commuter and I had a good experience. But just like Leticia said it, sometimes by being a commuter, you're not being like you don't have as much as opportunity to be part of the LaSalle community as the residents have because you always have to go back home and do your home stuff, and it gets in the way.
how have you tried to make yourself part of the community as a commuter? How have you gone about that?
Well, one way is the pathways, so I can get like more friends through the pathways program, like you guys, and also by going to the IC3 house, the yellow one. I made more friends there, and then um, I always try if they have the carnivals like before COVID. I always try to like go, even if it was just for a little bit.
Okay, we have a question from Christina. What are some things to consider when deciding which to do on or off campus? And we haven't heard from Brianna, so I'm wondering, Brianna, if you want to jump in and attempt to answer that or tell us about your situation. I think that'll be a good opportunity.
Yeah, so I've lived in dorms my 2 years here at LaSalle University, and I like the fact that I'm here on campus because you get to meet more people in the dorms. I live in a co-ed hall, so like there's boys and girls, so it's a great opportunity to meet other people that are different from you and that share different perspectives. So that's fun. I like that Maria said that. There's more opportunities when it comes to living on campus. That is so very true because you're on campus, you know what's happening, you can stay in the loop. There's also clubs to join in so that you can meet other people as well. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to meet other people and I don't think you ever get bored, if anything. So yeah.
So Christina asked, how do you consider which one to do? So can any of you sort of say how you came to the decision to live on campus or to commute?
Sorry.
Maria.
If you're planning on commuting, just like make sure how far it's like the commute and make sure your schedule it's like mostly in the morning so you don't get the traffic time because once you do that you just lose about like 1 hour and a half of your day where you could be doing homework or studying. So I think that would be one of the things you should look at before choosing commuting.
I also would say expenses as well. So how much it would cost you to live rather than to commute as well. Because you want to count in your gas, other things like that, that are also expenses. Like Maria said, think of the unthinkable, the little things that you wouldn't necessarily think of. Think about those too when you're deciding between commuting or living.
So that was something that I was going to touch upon. So I live 2 hours away, so I was going to be living here no matter what. But after freshman and sophomore year, it kind of came down to like, do I want to get an apartment or would I rather live on campus? And it totally comes down to finances. I had to sit down with a calculator and really plan it out. And, I just realized that living in Newton is no cheap thing and that I really didn't want to spend the money to live someone further and then take the T in. So it kind of just came down to drawing a chart and putting out the pros and the cons.
Absolutely. I know we're running a little low on time, but I think the elephant in the room too is that it's probably changed quite a bit since COVID. So this year, living on campus or off campus probably feels very different. Anybody want to speak to what it's like to be on campus now after the pandemic has started?
So living on campus now has obviously been a lot different. As you can see, Letitia's wearing the mask, so we're all required to wear masks no matter where we go. So the dining hall is a lot different. I mean, just walking through with the mask and the bag. And
I'll show some video of that. Hold up. I'm gonna
Yeah,
show a video.
Letitia can show you
So
firsthand.
this is the dining hall right now. Everything's in plexiglass.
Yeah.
Sí. Solo ahora.
So yeah, basically what she's showing you, it's totally different. I mean, just the social life has been different. I mean, we have CAB, which is, the campus events, and, they're doing everything virtually, and they're trying so hard to make everyone feel, the best that they can. But it's like, you still feel like it's odd. I mean, going to classes, some people are having all their classes online. Some people are doing hybrid where they're in one day and out the next. And it's like, at the same time, we're also getting COVID tested. We're kind of living day by day. We never know when we're going to get that email that it's time to pack up and go. Or, today we got an email that we're doing great. So it's kind of just, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's almost over.
So far, so good. Oh, go ahead, Jessica. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to, and I don't mean to shy away from living on campus conversation. I mean, I know all of our students have like lunch right now. So if you want to, I don't know about you guys, but if you want to stay for like another 5-10 minutes, I'm curious to hear more about what Neha mentioned in terms of the reasons why you wanted psychology and then you changed. Because I think if you can provide maybe advice around what does it mean to be a psychology major, that would be great, since we already have one professor and a student here. So I don't mean to put you on the spot, Neha, but if you could talk a little bit about why, what was the switch and how they can kind of help you through that process.
Sure. Right now, can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened is I was really looking into psychology because I was watching Criminal Minds. I know. It's just really bad. But I was really interested in how they profiled or how they looked into somebody else's brain. And also everybody, I'm not bragging, but everybody kind of likes to come talk to me. And I believe that I'm a good listener. And it's always good to, be the comforting friend. But what happened is when I was looking into psychology, I was talking to my mom, who's a nurse, and she said that you need doctorate with the psychology, and that's like another 8 years. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do 8 years of schooling after like high school. So I looked into more stuff, but everything that came up with psychology needed a doctorate, and I don't think that it is the path that I'm looking for. But just with psychology, if I could do something, that was the great thing. So that's when teaching came as an option, and I kind of substituted psychology instead of the teaching. I feel like being a teacher, you can still be that emotional support your student needs, and you can still be the trusted adult. But at the same time, I still have that little love and passion for psychology still in there.
Well, Jackie is a psych major, and I'm a professor in psych. So I'm going to let Jackie maybe respond to that, and then I'll chime in with whatever else.
So I feel like when I was in high school, I was also in the same position because everyone was like, you need a PhD, you'll be in school forever. And my head was like, oh my God, like I really don't want to go to school for 8 years. Like that's just not what I'm feeling in my life currently. And then once I obviously started doing more research and, looking at the jobs out there for each degree, I kind of realized that you don't need a PhD to do anything with psych. So obviously, if you get a higher degree, the more options you have with anything that you pick. But there are level jobs for bachelor's degree in psychology. And me personally, I'm going to be getting my master's in school psychology, which is an additional 3 years of schooling. And if I wanted to go all the way, I could get my PhD. But I think like it's really important to do the research and just look at the jobs and the fields. I mean, even like going to classes and talking to professors and just getting advice and opinions on what they did. And it's so helpful. I would say, you know, if it's not something that you particularly are interested in right now, maybe just take some courses, either like in college or while you're in high school, or, you know, just get into introduction of psych and see if it's something you really are interested in. Because believe it or not, if you like it, you're willing to go to school for as many years as it takes.
Good point. Good point, Jackie. I'll just say that I think education and psychology are very closely related. And in fact, even if you come in as an ed major, there are some psych classes that are required as part of the curriculum. I see the education students shaking their head. But I will say this. One of the things that we do at LaSalle, I think maybe particularly well as compared to some other places where I've worked, we're actually helping psych majors with 2 different internships, a junior level one and a senior level one. And a lot of our emphasis is on not just going on to graduate school, but entering the workforce. So I would say maybe, you know, I'm just tossing out a number, but I'm thinking maybe 85% of our graduates in psych actually go into the workforce. Now, some of them may go back and do a graduate degree after that, but they're going out directly from LaSalle into entry-level behavioral health or mental health positions. So as Jackie just said, there are options. You don't have to go all the way to a PhD, but if you do, you like it, we certainly equip you to do that. And Jackie's actually working in one of our programs where she's working on some research and we're getting her ready to apply to graduate schools. So you have choices. And I guess, Neha, I would say to you, consider it still, you know, see how you feel once you start school. And you can make a switch early on. It's okay, regardless of what you choose.
What can you do with psychology?
Okay, I think I heard your question. You were asking what can you do like right after school with
Yeah.
psychology? Okay, yeah, there are a lot of entry-level positions like behavioral health workers in a lot of settings like hospitals or community health centers. A lot of those things you can do right out of undergrad. You also have there are different titles for them when you look them up, but sometimes it'll say like psychiatric tech. Sometimes there are things actually in educational settings, working with children, maybe not necessarily as a teacher, but maybe you're working with them on educational plans. Maybe you're assisting some of the teachers in some of the sort of the adaptations of their curriculum based on psychological issues. We've had a lot of students go into working with autism among young folks, like I would say early childhood or adolescence. We've had some go in right into corporate work also, working with businesses, working in human resources, all those sort of things are options. So it's almost that not only are there options, it's almost an overwhelming amount of options coming right out with a psych degree. I hope that answers at least some of your question here.
No, absolutely so much. It's just that kept on saying that you do need a doctorate and that you cannot do anything just with your psych. And I don't know if 8 years is something, you know, I do agree with what Jackie